So two big things you can probably tell already. I have a new hairdo. I just kind of wanted a protective style for the summer because I'm going to have a lot going on. And I just wanted something that I could just keep and not have to worry about my hair. So I'm going to talk a little bit about my hair in another video. But another big difference is that I'm not in my dorm right now. I'm actually home for the next 2 weeks because I just needed a little break before interning and working and taking my classes at school. So I'll be going back next week to start with all of that. But I brought home my camera and everything because I know that a lot of people had been anticipating the video where I talked about my new industrial piercing. So I still wanted to be able to record this for you guys. This video might be a little long just because I'm going to cover the actual day I got my ear pierced and also all about my aftercare and everything too. So just a heads up in advance, this might be quite a long video. But if you're interested to hear all about my industrial piercing and my experiences, then just keep watching. So I went last Thursday, which would have been May 12th, and I went to a place called Empire Ink Tattoo, which is located in Miami Beach. I believe it's on Washington Avenue. Now, there's 1,000,001 piercing and tattoo places in Miami that I could have chose from. A lot of them charge around $75 to $100 because it is 2 piercings, so it's a little bit more pricey than a regular piercing. And honestly, I wouldn't mind splurging on a piercing for good quality because, you know, it is your body. You want to make sure that you're getting the highest quality possible. But Empire Tattoo had amazing reviews online from people that went there, and they had 5 stars across the board. And then we charged $55. So, you know, I went with that one. You know, good price and good service. It was just perfect. So originally I had planned on vlogging the whole day in order to be able to post it and show you guys. But for liability reasons, the piercing place wouldn't let me record. So my whole vlogging plan was messed up and I was so mad that I didn't even like film myself afterwards. But anyway, when I got there, it wasn't busy at all, so I was able to go straight to the chair. And honestly, I was pretty relaxed. I wasn't nervous, really. I was anxious because I was excited, but I wasn't really scared. A good thing I wasn't, though, because the guy that did my piercing, he definitely wouldn't have helped with my nerves at all. He wasn't, like, mean or rude or anything, but compared to the place that I went to here in Baltimore to get my nose, he just wasn't, he didn't talk through it like the girl did here, and he wasn't, like, as helpful through the whole process, you know? He was just kind of like, whatever, just doing his thing, not really being personable, you know? Thankfully, I knew what to look for, you know, to make sure that everything was sanitized right because I had gotten the piercing before and, you know, she explained everything to me. So I was able to make sure he was doing everything right, but it would have been better, you know, for him to explain to me, you know, this is this, look at your new needle, da-da-da-da, but, you know, I guess it's because it's Miami, and I guess he assumed that a lot of people get piercings all the time, so, you know, no point in explaining, but I just like that experience when the person is really personable with you. Plus, I had watched a bunch of YouTube videos of people getting it done, so I knew, you know, what to look for. So basically, what they do is they first take the needle, which is bigger than a standard ear piercing needle because it is a bar, so it has to be big enough to be able to fit the piercing through. I don't want to lie to you guys and tell you the wrong size gauge because I'm not really sure. I believe it's 16, but don't hold me to that. I'll put the correct one in the description box so you guys will know. And what they do is they take the needle and they first put it through the first hole. And to me, the first hole wasn't too bad. It was kind of like when I got my second hole, which is not here now because it's closed. But it kind of felt the same way for the bottom hole. And then they just take the same needle and just stick it through in the same path to get to the cartilage at the top. The one at the top, I don't even know how to describe it, but it was bad. Like, it hurt. For the first hole, on a scale from 1 to 10, for this one, I would probably give it like maybe a 3.5. Second hole was definitely an 8.5, if not a 9. But just to put it into comparison, I actually think that my nose hurt more. I can't remember exactly, but I feel like the pain for my nose was a lot worse. I had anticipated my ear to be like deadly because so many people that I had talked to about it previously, they told me how bad it was. So, you know, I had already had my anxiety up for it. And that's probably why I didn't feel like it was too bad because my anticipation was definitely a lot higher. So maybe it is a good thing if you set high expectations for it because then that way when you actually get it done, it's not as bad as you had anticipated it to be. Now, granted, it was a quick pain, but, you know, quick pain and pain are still the same things. So, you know, it does hurt. It's a piercing. It's going to hurt. Right after I got the piercing, it didn't hurt too bad, but like a couple hours later, it was like hot and throbbing. But then after a while, the really bad pain kind of went away and I was fine. So now let's talk a little bit about the aftercare and stuff. So I did a pretty decent job with healing my nose in a good amount of time. So I wanted to kind of stick to that same routine for my ear. First things first, you always want to make sure that you wash your hands with an antibacterial soap before you touch your ear or your piercing. Always, because you don't want to risk getting bacteria or infections all around it. It's just, when you have a fresh piercing, it's really prone to getting infections because it's an open wound. So just to prevent that, always wash your hands before touching it. So like the standard way of cleaning a piercing, a fresh piercing, is to use sea salt with warm water and soak it for like 5 to 10 minutes. Like once or twice a day. I personally like to do it in the shower just so that it doesn't get all over the place. Basically what I'll do is just take one of these small little bathroom Dixie cups and fill it up with warm water and then put just a pinch amount of the sea salt in. You don't want to use too much sea salt because it could be too harsh on the fresh piercing. So I'll put warm water and a little bit of the sea salt in the cup, and then I'll just kind of like lean over and cover my ear with the cup. And I love using the small cups because they like fit perfectly around my ear without like spilling water all over the place. So I'll just take it, I'll put it over my ear, I'll lean over, and then I'll lean over the other way and just let it soak for like 5 to 10 minutes while I'm in the shower. You can do it outside of the shower too, but it does tend to drip a little bit, so it's just easier to do it in the shower. Now, if the place doesn't supply sea salt like this, you can buy it at the store. They sell it at grocery stores, Walmart, Target. You just want to make sure that it is fine and non-iodized. I'll put a picture of the one that I bought here. I don't have it with me because I left it at school. But this is the brand that I really like, and I use this also for my nose. I think that doing the soaks help a lot with some of the after pain you might have. It feels really soothing after you do it. It also helps to eliminate any bacteria that you might have around your ear or inside the piercing. So along with the sea salt soaks, I do a little extra cleaning because I'm paranoid of germs and infections, and I want my piercing to heal as fast as possible. So sometimes, not every time, but sometimes after I soak my ear with the sea salt soak, I will also use the Dr.Bronners hemp tea tree castle soap to clean my ear a little bit more. These soaps are amazing for fresh piercings because they're 100% natural and they aren't too harsh, you know, because sometimes they tell you not to use harsh soaps on a new piercing, but these are not harsh at all. The only thing is that for the tea tree one, I would dilute it just a little bit. So I would mix it, I would put some of it in a little cup like this and then pour it in and then mix it up so that it's diluted a little bit with water, just to make it a little bit more mild, because tea tree is an essential oil, so it's kind of strong. So just to dilute it a little bit will help to make sure that it's not too harsh on the ear. You can really use any of the Dr.Bronners soaps. They have lots of different ones. I like to use the tea tree one just because it's antibacterial, and it also helps with any bumps that you might get around your piercing and preventing those bumps. Tea tree oil is also really good in helping the skin heal a little bit faster. The peppermint and lavender ones are also really good for piercings for the same reasons. Peppermint and lavender are both antibacterial, antifungal, and they will also help with healing the piercing a little bit faster. If you have extremely sensitive skin, I would suggest getting the Dr.Bronners one that's more mild, or even the Dr.Bronners baby soap, just because those soaps are really mild and you won't have to worry about any irritation at all. If you're like me and you want to take that extra step past the sea salt soaps, Dr.Bronners soaps are amazing. So the soap can be a little bit drying, so if you do choose to clean your ear or your piercing with this soap, it's really important to follow up with an oil to help moisturize the skin. The two oils that I used to help heal my nose a little bit faster was lavender and grapeseed oil, so I decided to use the same two oils for my ear. The reason why I use both is because grapeseed oil is going to help to dilute the lavender oil a little bit, because lavender is kind of strong because it is an essential oil. So to dilute it a little bit, I'll just add some grapeseed oil, and grapeseed oil is also really good for moisturizing piercings because it has a very high penetrative power, so you can be sure that the oil is really getting deep into the skin and not just sitting on top. Now these two oils feel so good on a fresh piercing. It just feels like it's really soothing the pain. It also smells really good because, you know, the scent of lavender is amazing anyway. But I just feel like these are really, really, really good for helping to heal the wound a little bit faster. So just a little bit about what to expect during your healing process. Now for me, of course, it's only been about a week or so, but this piercing takes about 7 months to a year to completely heal. Now many people I talked to before getting my piercing said that they were in pain, like bad pain for days after they got their piercing. But for me, the only time it really bothers me is when I accidentally hit it really hard. or while I'm cleaning it. Sometimes I can be a little bit rough while I clean it, so I just have to be a little bit more gentle. But other than that, it doesn't really bother me at all. I don't feel it at all, like, day to day. The only thing is that you will not be able to sleep comfortably on the side with the piercing. Obviously, because too much pressure on it, it will hurt. Also, I noticed that trying to wear glasses is kind of tricky because I'm just not used to having this bar right here, and it is still a little bit sensitive. So when I put on my glasses, it's like, oh, I forgot that that's there, and you can just feel it, like, sting for a little bit, but it goes away, of course. Same thing with, like, overhead earphones or Beats, because I have a pair of Beats. I was able to wear them the day after I got my piercing, but it wasn't completely comfortable. It didn't hurt, but it wasn't comfortable, you know? With wearing headphones like that over the ear, you want to make sure that you're cleaning them well. I use a Clorox wipe to clean mine every time I put them on and off, just to prevent bacteria and infections from getting all over the place. But just to prevent that altogether, I would just wear in-ear headphones. But I didn't have any at first. I only had my overhead Beats, but now I bought a pair, so that way it's a little bit more comfortable now while I'm trying to heal my ear. So overall, it hasn't been as bad as I anticipated, of course. For my nose, with all the oils and the cleaning regimen and all that stuff, I was able to heal it pretty quickly, so I'm hoping that I'll be able to do the same thing with my ear. I can do an update in a couple months so you guys can see where I am in my healing process. But I really do love it so much. Like, I don't plan on taking it out. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that this video was helpful to you, like always. And if you have any more questions about the piercing, if you're interested in getting it, and stuff like that, don't be afraid to ask. You can ask in the description box below, or you can hit me up on one of my social media accounts. I will be doing a protective style video coming up very, very soon, so stay tuned for that. And I hope to see you guys in my next video. Bye!